Welcome back once again, adventurers, to Let's Play Steins. In the last episode, thanks to our trusty reliable source known as Mayushi, Rintaro was able to learn that a retro PC was donated from Ferris's father's collection to one of the two shrines in Akihabara. By process of elimination, Rintaro went to the larger, more frequented shrine of Kanada Myoji, but came up empty-handed. That just left Yanabayashi Shrine, to which Rintaro appealed to Ruka and his father, and this time we struck pay dirt in the form of the very thing that we're actually looking for, the IBM 5100. A simple computer with an integrated monitor. The monitor is only about as big as the GPS screen. That seems to be fairly typical of old style computers that were made and manufactured in the 1970s. I compare it to the image I got from Shining Finger. I would definitely say that this is indeed the PC that we're looking for. And apparently Ruka has noticed something. Ruka points to the logo between the tape drive and the monitor, even though that's not entirely obvious from this particular image here. It says IBM 5100 portable computer. The icing on the cake, or the cherry on top of the cake, as it were. This is indeed the very machine that we need to decrypt the proprietary code that SERN is using to encrypt their database. And with the encryption out of the way, we can finally peruse the rather elusive Jellyman's report. Indeed, we can now declare the mystery of the Phantom PC of Akihabara as confirmed. It's in excellent condition. There's only a thin layer of dust on it. But it looks like we'll need to plug it in to see if it works. That would really be a really big drawback if it didn't work. Now the problem is whether or not Ruka's father will lend it to me. That is another thing we have to deal with.
単刀直入にお聞きしたいのですが、この PC を貸してもらうことは可能ですか?
No harm in being polite, which is probably one of the few times in which Rintaro will actually be courteous to somebody else. Apparently, Ruka's father seems to be rather nonchalant about it. Is it okay for a priest to just lend property out like that? Items which were donated to the shrine? I've never heard of anything like that. That's why I was expecting him to refuse. So apparently Ferris's father gave Ruka's father some instructions. That is oddly specific, not to mention coincidentally prophetic.
まさか本当にこうして現れるとは思いませんでしたよ。というか、私もそのことづてのことはついさっきまで忘れていたぐらいです。
Apparently, Ferris's father has some kind of intuition of sorts.
ですから、これは法院君にお貸ししましょう。ただし、使い終わったら必ず返してくださいね。
Indeed, we are just borrowing it for the time being until we can break into SERN's databases.
ありがとうございます。
I bow deeply, but in my heart I'm grinning like a madman. I can't stop laughing. Things are going better than I anticipated. It's almost like everything's being handed to me on a silver platter. It's all falling into place. Now CERN's secrets will be laid bare. We can expose their wicked research and possibly even gather hints on the creation of a time machine. Then I can create the first time machine in human history. Well, we do technically have the phone wave TBA because they can send messages into the past. But we have one final hurdle to deal with, getting the IBN 5100 back to the lab. And unfortunately we don't have a vehicle to transport it, and Rintaro apparently doesn't have a license. And apparently Kurusu is in the same boat.
アメリカでは16歳から普通免許を取れるというではないか。にもかかわらず持っていないのか
I think that probably has to do with the fact that she's busy with scientific research.
何よ、悪い？向こうじゃ研究漬けだったのよ。
And Kurusu basically confirms the exact same
青春を無駄
thing.
に過ごしているな。
あんたを見てるとそうとも思えないけど、むしろ私の方がよっぽど有意義な過ごし方してると思う。
We don't really have anything to counter that. Touche.
喧嘩は良くないです。
I wouldn't so much call this fighting as petty squabbling there, Rukuko, but I do see your point. Rukuko's flustered again.
ルカ子、今日は助かった。改めて父上には礼を言っておいてくれ。
Indeed, we are forever in your debt. Speaking of which, Ruka's dad has already returned to the shrine office. Rukuko nods.
あなたのお父さん、素敵な人ね。
And Kurusu just throws out a compliment. He does appear to be a rather gentle soul. Although Rukuko seems rather taken back by that comment. Rukuko and I freeze at my assistant's nonchalant words.
お父さんは結婚してまして。不倫は良くないです。
And unfortunately, Ruka seems to be misinterpreting Kurusu's words altogether.
はい。
そうか、助手よ。お前は親父好きだったか。
And Rintaro, in usual fashion, doesn't hesitate to pour and rub salt straight into the wound.
待った、二人とも勘違いするな。そういう意味じゃない。
And now Kurusu is the one who is now flustered.
お父さんは渡せません。
Appears that Ruka is rather fond and protective of his father.
泣か
Maybe
な
a
いで
little
よ。
too overprotective.
私が言ったのは親子で仲が良くて羨ましいなってこと。それ以上の意味はないから。
Apparently, Kurusu is somewhat estranged from her own father. In fact, we hardly even know anything about him.
そうでしたか。すみません、変な勘違いして。僕はなんで失礼なことを。
And Rukuko tries to smooth things over.
だから泣かないでよ。誤解が解けたならもうそれでいい。
Now that we've gotten that out of the way.
心の奥底ではルカパパへの募る思いが。
And Rintaro keeps digging his own hole.
ねえよ。
That was the most sarcastic one-line retort ever delivered. Christina turns away. I decide to leave it at that. Angering her any further could lead to violence.
ルカ子、さみだれでの素振りを忘れるなよ。
It is actually very good advice there from Rintaro.
はい頑張ります。エルサイこんがり
And once again, Ruka mispronounces the last word of the code phrase.
コングルーだ。いい加減覚えろ。
It's Elsai Kongru, 3 words that mean absolutely nothing.
すみません。ちょっとあんた、女の子をいじめるなんて最低じゃない？
Yeah, that's right. I hate to tell you this, Kurusu, but I think the truth would destroy your mind, not to mention unravel your sanity. I wouldn't know. Because Rukako is a guy. Male. I ignore Christina and lift a box with the IBN 5100. Given how much trouble Ruka's father was having with it, I sincerely doubt we can actually move it by ourselves. And to prove my point, I can barely get it off the ground. I put it down for now. Now I know why Ruka's dad was red in the face when he brought this thing in. Yeah, all computers tend to be quite heavy.
なんじゃくね。CRT のモニターぐらいの大きさなのに。
I believe that television screens can actually be quite bulky in and
なら
of
ばお前が持っ
themselves.
てみるがいい。俺の言葉が間違いではないとわかるはずだ。
And Rintaro is challenging Kurusu to try her luck. Challenge accepted. Kurusu sighs, grabs both ends of the box, and lifts. Congratulations, Kurusu. You probably managed to lift it 2 nano inches off the ground. I think I saw it move very, very slightly, like a hair's length. She strains with all her might, but gives up without lifting it even a centimeter.
すごく重いです。
That does pose a serious problem for both of us. She blushes slightly, but still maintains her usual frown. My assistant seems to have a strong competitive spirit. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, as the old saying goes.
30キロくらいあるんじゃない？こ
That
れ。
weighs
台
quite
車
a
か何
lot.
か借りた方がいいかもね。漆原さん、この神社に台車ない？
I suppose that Ruka can go find out.
あるんですけど、実は壊れちゃってて。すみません。
Of course it would be broken. And we don't want to actually break the IBN 5100 in any way, shape or form, for several reasons.
他に借りられそうなところは？
I'm sure there is something else we could find to
Yeah.
transport it.
台車は必要ない。
Though Rintaro seems to think we don't need one.
だったらどうやって持って帰るの？ここからあんたのボロラボまで歩くと10分くらいかかるわよ。
She does have a point. It takes a while to get from the shrine to the lab, and given how heavy the IBN is, it's probably going to take more than that.
一人では重すぎてきついかもしれないが、二人ならば別だ。俺とお前で持っていけばいい。そのための助手だろう。
To be honest, there are 3 of us. There is Rintaro, Kurusu, and Rukako that might make a difference. And also, I don't think Kurusu is going to think too kindly of that last statement.
このためなのか。まあ、2人で運ぶならなんとかなるかもね。
Well, she seems to concur with our point.
だが断る。
But she refuses. Curiously enough, we've actually seen this phrase before, used by Daru a few episodes back, which is a curious way of phrasing it.
断るって言ったのよ。
That is that's what you implied, but that's not what you
だが
said.
断ると言ったか。
And even Rintaro couldn't possibly fail to notice that little slip of the tongue there.
うるさいな。そうよ、断ったのよ。
But I refuse is a famous manga quote. Could Kurisu be an ad channeler? Which basically means that she has a unconscious tendency to slip into internet memes from time to time.
私はもともと知識を貸すってことでラボ面にさせられたのよ。よってこの場合、次の回を導ける。力仕事は無理。
And Kurisu is using her own brand of reverse psychology.
そうか。では仕方ない。とりあえず俺は頑張って運ぶつもりだが。
Unfortunately for Kurisu, two can play the psychology game. I glance at Ruka. He twitches when he notices my look, then timidly raises his hand with tears in his eyes. But you can see where this is going.
じゃあ僕が
Now Ruka is offering to help, however...
漆原さんが大丈夫なの？
As I was saying, 3 of us might be better than 2. Just saying.
頑張ります。
いや、ルカ子。お前に手伝わせるわけにはいかん。俺が一人で何とかする。
But Rintaro was clearly refusing Rukako's help, even though he clearly demonstrated that he's not going to be able to move the IBM all by himself.
そんな遠慮しないでください。僕、岡部さんのお役に立ちたくて。
Ruka is determined, but Rintaro is
俺が
adamant.
一人で。
僕も手伝います。
Rather underhanded trick.
じゃあ、私も。
どうぞどうぞ。
But it seems to have worked. Can you guess the ploy here? You see what Rintaro has just done? Should be fairly obvious now.
知らなかったのかクリスティーナ。これこそがジャパニーズギャグというものだ。
I don't think that's how gags work, but oh well. Brilliant play of reverse psychology.
ルカ子よ。協力ご苦労。というわけで、この PC は俺と助手で運ぶから、お前は手伝わなくてもいいぞ。好意だけ受け取っておく。
はい。そういうことでしたら。
So Ruka is still upset at not being able to help, but
さあ助手、自分から立候補した以上、もう拒否することは許さんぞ。持て、今すぐ持て。
Taro has reversed psychology Kurisu's little trap there,
はいはい。
and Kurisu was not happy about it. Kurisu and I lift up the cardboard box. I do love these drawings that pop up from time to time depicting certain scenes. The burden's considerably easier when distributed between 2 people. Probably Ruka might also be help as a ballast of sorts.
なんで私たちお見合い状態なわけ？
Well, it's really the only way to carry the box. We're positioned so that we're looking at each other, but there's no other way to hold it, so what can you do?
いいから行くぞ。
And Ritaro's eager to be off. I start to walk out of the shrine.
待った待った、待て。
Should probably get your rhythm in order there. Otherwise we're going to break the IBN.
なんだうるさいやつだな。
あんたね、前に進まないでよ。私が後ろ歩きしなくちゃいけないでしょ。横に動きなさい。
That is actually the more sensible way of walking sideways, so that they can actually both see where they're going. Since when has Rintaro ever been the one to follow the sensible route, however?
いいからキビキビ動け、助手。
And Rintaro is clearly impatient.
聞いて、頼むから聞いて。後ろ歩きはさすがに無理。
助手ならばできるはずだ。
期待してくれてどうも。でも無理。横歩きに変更求む。つうかしろ、変更しろ。転んじゃうから。
And I believe in the Funimation dub, people are actually standing around, or in the anime, people are actually standing around in the streets of Akiba, staring rather amusedly at the antics that are currently going on. It's dark by the time we get to the lab. It's normally less than a 15-minute walk, but since Kurisu kept begging to take breaks, it ended up taking twice as long.
やっと着いた。疲れた。
Yes, indeed, although we actually do have somewhat of another hurdle to actually deal with in that, you see that narrow stairway from the ground floor up to the Future Lab? We still have that to deal with.
お前がああだこうだと文句を言わなければ、もっと早く着いていたのだ。
But for now, we are able to actually catch our breath, and Rintaro is complaining to Kurisu.
その言葉、そっくり返してやる。あんただって5回は途中で休憩しようって言った。
Yeah, this will happen a lot. And Rintaro understandably has no counter argument to
あれ
that,
は俺の体の不調だ。
though he does try to make up some sort of excuse,
どこか悪いの？
which somehow seems to elect a sense of sympathy from Kurisu,
Oh.
unintentionally.
たまに右腕がうずくのだよ。そうすると俺の心はどす黒い破壊衝動に支配され。
Apparently Rintaro is talking about the supposed spirit that inhabits his right arm.
うっさい黙れ。あんたの右腕の末梢神経も含めて根こそぎ引き抜くぞ。
Kurisu is clearly not amused by this story. There's something wrong with her. Yeah, she just threatened to tear off your arm, basically. It's like something from last year's New Gen incidents. Probably not a good idea to get her too mad, Rintaro. Let's bring the IBN 5100 into the lab. The final barrier awaits. The stairs. We have to ascend the... Let me read that again. We have to ascend this rickety building's narrow staircase. Why, there's so many stairs. Never again, Mokuba. Never again.
ずっと呼んだ方がいいんじゃない？
Yeah, speaking of which, where are Mayuri and Daru? They're probably in the lab as we speak.
そうだな。
And Rintaro seems to comply for once. Appears the lights are on.
あれ？
And lo and behold, Suzuha is come out to greet us. If you couldn't already tell, her bike is here, so she's still clearly working at the Brawn Tube workshop. Perfect timing indeed.
何運んでんの？
Just a box. Just a box.
聞きたいのか？では教えよう。
待った。立ち話するならひとまず段ボール下ろさない？
You actually have a very good point there, Kurisu.
いや、別に立ち話をする必要はないぞ。
ほんで、何なのそれ？
IBN5100 と言ったらどうする？
Still very, very curious, but
嘘！すごい！手に入れたんだ。やるね、岡部倫太郎。
and she's elated by the fact that we found the IBN 5100. Wish you'd stop calling me by my full name. What are you, Francisca von Karma? she's going to do that, she should at least call me Hououin Kyouma. I don't think she's ever going to do
どこにあっ
that.
た？重いんだけど。
And Kurisu's arms are literally about to drop off from the weight of the computer. Kurisu starts giving in. I'm about at my limit too.
板下ろせ。
That is a good idea. Probably should have done that, oh, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. Kurisu and I placed it on the ground gently, so as to not damage the contents. Finally, we can relax.
ね、どこにあったの？
Yeah, we haven't told her yet.
柳林神社。
Funny that.
柳林神社？神社って神の社？
Indeed, the very same. Also, don't tell anyone this, but a certain someone actually said that, to anticipate something like this happening.
ああ。
なんだってそんなところに。
Suddenly, Suzuha looks at Kurisu.
あ、
Is it just me, or did a chill just run down my spine? She gasps and then approaches Kurisu until they're close enough to feel each other's breath.
なんですか？
Pall of ominousness. Suzuha's expression has completely changed.
マキセ・クリス？
It's interesting that you would know her name. I assume that you have probably read that from one of her scientific journals.
そうだけど。
Although this is rather odd. For some reason, she stares at Kurisu with frightful intensity. Kurisu narrows her eyes in opposition. Can't move a muscle. The air's so thick with tension you could cut it with a knife.
なんなの？私、あなたに何かしました？
Suzuha turns away and, without looking back, disappears into the Brawn Tube workshop. Well, that wasn't confrontational at all.
誰？
Now Kurisu demands answers from me.
1
Probably a
階
good
の
idea to
ブ
give
ラウン
her
管
them.
工房のバイトだ。
なんで私、睨まれたわけ？
We clearly do not have the answer to that question.
お前が何か怒らせるような真似をしたのではないのか？
彼女とは今初めて会ったのに。失礼な人ね。
Curious. Rather curious indeed. Kurisu picked a fight with me the first time we met too, but that was a hallucination, so I don't say anything. I get Daru and Mayuri to come down and help us, and the 4 of us carry the IBN 5100 upstairs. And now that we have finally scaled the Mount Everest that is the rickety staircase, I believe this is a good time to end the episode. When we return, adventurers, we shall start setting up the IBM 5100 to see if it actually functions, and then Daru can use his super hacker skills to finally break into CERN's network properly, and then all that glitters will belong to us. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.